name is John Mambira, and I was born and bred here in Mzilikazi. This is our little neighborhood where I grew up, and this is Mzilikazi Youth Center. This is a place where my dream started. This is a place where I was groomed as an artist and where I learned all my skills, all my singing skills, all my drumming skills and dancing skills. So I'll bring you guys in and so you can see the place. As you can see, we just like start from the gate. It's not secure. Everything is just like shuttered because it seems this place hasn't been maintained forever. And then this place right here, this is our court right here. We used to play basketball here, and we used to play tennis, soccer, where we just like found entertainment each and every day after school. This was our place. This was literally our home because this is where we just like got together as youth. So we used to do performances in this room right here, but now it's just an abandoned room. The chairs are just like broken, and the windows, there are no windows at all, there are no lights. So we are trying to create that atmosphere where if we rebuild this place, we are rebuilding our community, we're rebuilding a future and some hope to our youth that just don't have any more access like I did. I had all the access because of this place and because of our city council would manage to maintain this place, but right now it's not being maintained at all. And I, as a community member, would like to contribute and give back to the community and say, let's come together and just like recreate this place for not us, but for our youth. These young kids come from school, they're getting involved with drugs, they're getting involved with alcohol every day. They are skipping off school because of just like the current situation in our country. So which means the more this is happening, the more our community is dying and the more our youth hope is just falling apart. So we want to recreate that.
This song reminds us of our families back home in Zimbabwe. We are them in spirit and in heart. This song is called Ekaya. It means home, okay? You guys, are you into helping us play this song? All right.
The lyrics, the rhythms that we use in our music, it's traditional, it's Zimbabwean. Even if it's a sad song or a happy song, you wouldn't tell. Spreading that word of Zimbabwe, how it is, you know, not in a bad way, but just like letting them know the current situation. As musicians, wherever we're traveling, this is our opportunity to spread the good side, the culture. We just want them to know there's a small country in Africa called Zimbabwe with this beautiful kind of music that they've never had before.
Welcome to your ground, and my name is Ngqabutho Boaz Bumede, aka King Boaz, the one and only King. And yes, today we have a legend in the game. Yes, that's John Mambira. I will allow him to introduce himself and say, how would you introduce yourself? Because you've done everything. I don't know where to put you. Are you a poet? Are you a musician? Are you a dancer? Are you a drummer? I don't even know. So maybe if you can just introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is John Mambira. I'm a Zimbabwean based in the United States, in Eugene, Oregon. I was born and bred in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, in Mzilikazi townships. I would like to call myself an artist, because as you said, I'm a dancer, drummer, actor, singer. So I just want to group myself as just call me an artist, not a musician.
All right. Yeah. Let's go back to your childhood growing up in Mzilikazi. What is one thing from MZ that you'll say, this is something that I remember from my childhood?
Oh man, just like this, there's quite a lot. I mean, just the culture itself. Us when we were growing up, we grow up, just like in the streets, not just being mischievous, but playing, street soccer,
Yeah.
uh, uh, doing dance drama a lot. We just like use anything. Like you get a teen and you just start playing, and then all the kids in the streets are dancing and singing. So it was just like a culture in us, just like natural culture of just it's either soccer or dance drama. So I
Yeah.
miss because I don't see that a lot when I go back home.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember growing up, I think maybe for a few years, there was this gumbo dance that had taken over. Almost, it was cool to be doing that, or to be able to do that gumbo dance. And there's a rhythm to it, so you needed to know and be in line with others. How do we go from the start to the end? Yeah.
It will be hard if if you don't have that sense of rhythm, and I mean, like, of which most of my friends that I grew up with, they were not like as musicians as I was. So it was funny when I would do it them. That's when I would get an advantage to mock them, because they wouldn't get the rhythm, and I would get it really easy. So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember, man, those were the days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. So what music were you listening to, or which artists would you say were the stuff that you were watching, the stuff that was maybe on TV, or the stuff that was close to you in terms of inspiration, people that you could see that, oh, this is someone who does this, I would like to be like that person.
So for some reason, man, I was very privileged to just grow up around the jazz scene because of my father. My
Yeah,
dad is still alive. He's 85 years old, but you can tell by his age, his friends were musicians. So my house used to be just like every Sunday used to be packed with people like the Cool Crooners, like Handsome Mabiza. He used to play with Southern Freeway, like Paul Lunga. He is now based, I think, in the UK. So all these jazz musicians just grew up. When I was growing up, they would just come and hang out with my dad and just like drink with my dad. So what were they listening to? Township jazz, Afro jazz, penny whistle. So all that kind of music is what like I grew up on, and for some reason I couldn't listen to any other thing than jazz. So I'm a jazz kid, and which is weird for a lot of kids, but believe
yeah,
me, man. Yeah.
yeah. So besides, you mentioned mainly most of the people that you mentioned, these were local acts. These were people that were from the Bulawayo music scene. Uh,
Mhm.
did you have access to any international material? And if it was, what kind of music was this?
Well, I did, like just like I grew up listening to, like Sechmo, because my dad is just like he's a jazz person. He listens to nothing but jazz. So he used to have these like records, my albums, like stacks
Yeah,
and stacks. And that's when I just like realized all the likes of like Yuma Sekelas, the likes of Steve Dyers, and here in United, Abdul Ibrahim is the one I grew up on.
yeah,
Um, but coming as far as here in the United States, man, I'll talk about the Duke Ellingtons. I'll talk about the Muddy Waters. This kind of like stuff that my dad would like. Louis Armstrong. My dad
yeah,
had all records. So I had the privilege to grow up listening to that too. In that.
Yeah, it's music that if you play today, we'll say, music La Lisa.
Exactly. But, it's I that music for my meditation. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then at what point then did you identify yourself as an artist to think, okay, this is something I might do for life. This is something that I might pursue. And was this acceptable from your dad? Did he say, okay, it's okay, just go for it, be a musician, or there was the emphasis on academic?
Yes, there definitely was the emphasis on academics. Definitely from my mom, usually. But my dad was like somebody who just like believed in just like somebody, if they have a talent that you just have to go for it. So I was lucky to have that support because from the age of like 11 years, I would say 10, at 10, I was like really passionate of just like drumming. You know why? Because there is this youth center in Mzilikazi where, just like youth just do different kinds of activities. So when I happened to go there to play soccer with, my friends, I had this guys in this other room. They were doing drama, playing drums, and dancing, and I just loved the way they sang and the way they sounded, and I just immediately said, this is what I want to do. So I asked to join the group, and this guy turned out some powerful, he lives in the area, was older, and then he's like, what can you do, man? Can you dance? I'm like, I think I can drum. I'm not sure, but I feel like I can drum. And just because I was just like a natural drummer, that's how I got in, man. When I went to my parents, I told them what I wanted to do. They just didn't take me seriously. They thought, oh, you know what, I'm just like dreaming. And so
Yeah.
they didn't take me seriously until they saw me spending more time doing that than reading homework. Then, they started saying, hey, man, no, you cannot, just juggle this too. You at least focus on your school.
Yeah.
And that took a while to figure out because, you can imagine at the age of 10, 11 years, you're still young to really grasp onto what your parents are trying to, guide you
Yeah.
on. And so it took me a couple of years for me to say, you know what, if I really want to do this. So this is when I was like probably like 12, 13. And I was like, I think the main thing where I'm getting in trouble is I'm not doing my homeworks. I'm not focusing on school. What should I do? After school, I would come home, sit down, do all my homework,
Yeah.
study at least 30 minutes, put away my books, and then I'm out. So when I come at like 7 p.m., and my parents are like, Ubungapi. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
clap against the drama, but I've done my homework. So there wouldn't be as mad, you know. And then just by doing that, I just realized I'm really good at this. And even like, so I joined this group called Tasa Performing Arts. It's
All
from
right.
which was just like our drama group as youths. And it was really good, man. We were like 18 of us, like youngsters, and we were so, like we knew what we wanted. We were really eager to make it and stuff. So we became a good group. So now the problem was we needed to do shows. Like, we needed to go to, like missions, like Tegwane mission, like Matopo mission, all these
Yeah.
boarding schools. But I would go to school, right? So there was something like, okay, so now we need to go to John's parents first to ask for him
Yeah.
to skip school on Thursday and Friday because we're going to Plantry, and my parents. So it was in two things, man. So you go to they go to my parents first, and then my dad starts saying, no, it's not possible. He has to go to school until maybe sometimes my mom talks my dad into it. And then now the second thing will be my dad or my mom going to my school to, to
To
ask
ask.
for yeah, headmaster to say, oh, my son won't be coming to school for 2 days, So that ended up being the thing that even my headmaster knew, like, oh, okay, so where is he going now? Because my dad was always in my headmaster's office to say, go. Now, excuse me, oh, my son is going away to South Africa for 1 week. So we're coming to, let you know. So it became a thing. So that became my life. So I was just like juggling the school and just trying to make a career out of this thing I'm doing. So yeah, it is
Yeah.
interesting.
So in terms of art, have you had any formal qualification to say, I'm a drummer, I went to school to do this? or this was something that came naturally and you used trial and error and perfected your craft?
Definitely, I did. I never went to school for anything, and nobody really actually taught me how to be a drummer. All I know from my dad is my grandfather used to be a drummer. You know, used to drum at church, used to drum at ritual ceremonies and stuff, and naturally know how to drum those rhythms, even if when I was a kid before I started drama. But so when I joined this group, that's when everything became natural to me. You know what I mean? I would just like get a drum, and then if they sing a beat, if they sing a song, I end up just like I just follow the beat and just natural. I don't even I'll be lying if I told you, oh, this day that's when I learned how to play this beat. Just it was just it. So yeah, man, it's just something that was in me, and but it took me a little while to really believe like what can I do, because if I put the drum down and join the other guys dancing, I would really copy them and be able to do the dance moves, and I would, by then I was able to get scripts because we were doing plays, so at the age of like 14 I was like cramming like 40-page scripts, like that's how I English. That's why you see me speak like this. It's not from from school. It's from reading scripts. So that's how I did literature, like literally, man, like that. So that trained me, though. It trained me how to speak English. It trained me stage presence. It trained me how to just like be confident and just like not have stage fright at all. By it, just since I was a young guy, and yeah.
Right. At this stage, doing art, because most of the times, I'm sure, like you said, your parents had a hard time accepting that our child is an artist. And also, it comes back to the fact that most of the artists, even that were seasoned, were not making enough money, even with their popularity, with their regular shows, and all that stuff. Did this come with any conversation in terms of income at that stage? Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm young. I'm like, what? Like in my, mid, like I'm a teen. Okay, so money is not an issue for me. Money is like, I don't care. I don't even know that I'm going to need this. So I just enjoy the presence. I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed just what we were doing without even thinking that I'm going to use this as a career later. But what happened when I was like maybe 14 that time? Konti Mhlanga needed a play, a play about street kids that needed to tour Harare. And, we had a really good play that we had played at. So Amakosi Theatre used to do festivals like Umkosi Wabacha and the Ingusa Festival. And group used to, participate in this festival. So they saw this play of ours, which was called what was that street kids play called? It was called The Choice Is Yours, and it's the street kids. You remember that time in the early 90s, street kids was a big thing.
Big thing, yes. Yeah.
So we made a play about that, and then that play, he liked it, and there was this American guy called Philip Proctor that came to Zimbabwe to just like do, he had an organization that supports street kids, kind of trying to take the kids out of the streets. So we managed to get that part. So we came to Harare. That's how I got to Harare for the first time, seeing these tall buildings and, skyscrapers that were not in Bulawayo, So it's like, wow. Yeah. But anyway, we did that for a week. After, my parents obviously went to school and asked for the headmaster from the headmaster. And so after that, on our last day, this guy comes with envelopes, and then just gives us envelopes. Like we were about like 7, and then so we're like, oh wow. And then I open my envelope, dude. I'm seeing $100. Those old $100.
Yes,
like
yes.
Dude, it was like, what is this? Is this all mine? It's like, yeah, that's yours. Everybody got theirs. Dude, I was so happy. You know what I did? We went shopping. I got my mom some sandals. I got my brother shoes, the one from Bongo Love. I got him like some pants, and so I bought my family gifts.
Yeah.
I brought my dad some money, so there was this red $10. You remember the red?
Yes.
Gave my dad $10 to buy his booze. This is when I was 14, and then that's when my parents started saying, like this kid actually bought us clothes right now, and I was 14, and then so they could just kind of see that, oh, maybe this could be.
Yeah.
Well, after that, they let me, they didn't mind. They wanted me to focus on that because, I mean, I started inviting them to our shows that we do in Mzilikazi Youth Center and in like nearby schools. They'll come and watch me do it and they would see how much, how talented I was. So
Yeah.
they just fight it anymore. So it was
Yeah.
really interesting.
All right. Yeah. And then maybe let's fast forward that to the time when you started the group Bongo Love, which is we will get into how then it propels you into other things in life and stuff like that. So let's start with the conception. How did you think of Bongo Love, and how did it come about to be a group that it was at the very beginning before you did anything? Who sat down? Who asked who, and why?
So I was chilling at home. This was like I was probably like what 17 now, 18, and I was done with the theater thing. It was just like it just as we grew up to be teenagers and older, we just like our egos grew bigger, and so that group ended. And then I was actually thinking of like what can I do in the arts. I was starting to do quite stuff, blah blah blah, but I needed something original. And then one time, a friend of mine is based in UK and sometimes in Italy. He's called Styles. And he approaches me, with a friend, Richard Masugu from CIA Arts. And they had this concept, really awesome, big concept. And like, just like the idea was to do this big group that is not just like a drama group, but it had marimbas, it had jambas, it had like dancers, and we were like 25 of us, like when we put this thing together.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, man. That's how Bongo Love started. It started literally not me starting the band, but Nhlanhla Styles coming to me and say, hey, dude, I need you to join us in this group. And I know you're a good drummer. And I had gained a lot of experience from drumming by then. So we started thing, and we would practice at Mtwagazi Youth Center in Ngubenja. But when people joined this, they were thinking, because Styles was coming from Italy, so they were thinking, oh, it's a quick route to go. Maybe Styles is wanting to form a group that is going to start touring. So that's how people went interested. But then this thing went months and months and months without nothing showing what's going to happen. So people started just like
Living. Yeah.
up. And then by the end of the month, it was just me and Styles, just the two of us. And we just stop. So now we didn't have marimba players. Now we didn't have, but me and him drum. So we used to get our jambes, go to Mtwagazi, and just like jam for hours, man. That's how I really learned how to do like djembe West African drumming through Styles, because he taught me that. And so time came when Styles had to go back to UK, and then he left me in responsibility with the group, with the instruments. In fact, he left me the responsibility instruments to say, you know what, I'll leave you these marimbas, I'll leave you these jambes, and then I'm gonna go to UK and I'm gonna start finding gigs. And then after some time, I'm gonna call you to UK, and then we can proceed with our project in the UK. This was when you did not need a visa to go to the UK.
Yeah.
So you went to UK, you raised his money, you went to UK. I stayed. So now my friend is gone that I play music with. What can I do? I just like called my brother, because I had marimbas in my, my 2 rooms backyard. And so I started teaching him songs that I knew from school, because I used to play marimba in Mzilikazi High School, and so I started teaching him these songs. While I was doing that, one of my friends come by, Temba Maoko, because he's hearing us play from the backyard, and then he hears marimba, he gets in my yard, and then it's like, oh, you guys got marimbas here. I like these instruments. Can I play with you? And I'm like, oh, come in, dude. And then, we started jamming, so it became a thing, and I really liked it because I had found something to do once again. And then I started writing. For some reason, I would play like a melody, and then I get a pen and paper, and then I started writing songs.
Nice, yeah.
And so that's when I came up with the idea of like, you know what? I think I can be a musician, but what kind of a musician do I want to be?
Yeah, all right, yeah.
And I was like, okay, I don't want to be a jazz musician. I don't want to be, like play like an American musician. I want to sound like me, So that's when the idea of saying, what don't we make a genre of our own? We don't want to say we want to play Afro jazz, or let's start our own genre. So that's how we started Afro acoustics. Coming from and acoustics. We used marimba, mbira, and drums. That's it. And I wrote the music, and we sing in all languages. My mother is a Motswana, so I would sing in Setswana. My dad is a Manyika. I would sing in Chimanyika. I would sing in English. So it became interesting. So that's the core of like how Bongo Love was formed. The other piece, like the Afro-caustic version. This is when Styles had gone to UK, and UK introduced the visa just when we were planning, he was planning to take me. And so all those dreams were shattered. I had nowhere to go. I couldn't go to UK unless if I have a visa. So I gave up on that. That's how I started doing this project. And it worked out, man. It just like we started playing interesting music.
Right.
So anyway, when we were practicing in my backyard, because Domingo Lube he's late now, he's an Afro jazz artist. He used to do well in his times, and he's my neighbor. So
All
I
right.
grew up because if V Square, there's like musicians like Love Moma Jaivan. I was born in my neighborhood, like 5 houses apart. Domingo Lube lives like 3 houses apart from my house. So V Square.
Yeah.
So to visit his parents from coming from Harare. He had a show in Bulawayo. So he hears some instruments playing in my backyard, and then it's like, who are these kids playing? And then they tell him. He comes to see us. So he found me playing percussion while these guys are playing marimba. And then it's like, dude, you're a good drummer. I have a show tonight. Do you know me? I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, I know you. I adore you. And
Yeah.
then he's like, you want to come and play with me tonight at my show? You want to feature in a song too? I was like, with pleasure. I took my djembe, went to his show. He was playing at Metropolis that time. It used to be called Metropolis. And then
Yeah.
I got for one song, and they gave me a solo part. And then I just like played what I knew. And the
Yeah.
manager immediately came after me and said, can I get you in my band? That's how I was hired. So they
Yeah.
hired me, and then I had to go back to my guys, Bongo Love. Listen up. If we want to make it with this, we have to move to Harare because it's capital. That's where you get greener pastures. How do we get to Harare? Listen up. I'm going to go first because I'm working for this guy now. And then I'm going to take every opportunity with this guy to bring you guys to Harare. And it did. Because me playing for Domingo Lube meant that I'm now playing in bigger venues in Harare. I'm getting exposed to a lot of promoters in Harare. I'm getting exposed to a lot of just like fan base because myself, I just my own style of playing percussion. And then I became this so-called new percussionist from Bulawayo, Akapenga. So people started liking me. And I was
Yeah.
taking that advantage and saying, but I got my side project. I got my group that is in Bulawayo. You see it. Anyway, years went by until I was like really settling in Harare. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to move on. So I brought my brother from Bulawayo, Temba Maoko from Bulawayo. They came and joined me. And I already found a Mambira player in Harare. Then that's when Bongo Love relaunched itself in
All right.
2004.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Bongo Love plays from 2004 until 2006. You guys enter the Music Crossroads competition, and
Mm-hmm.
you win the national prize for that. So take us through the process. What did you go through, guys, to win that Music Crossroads? I've attended two maybe Music Crossroads. I think 2008 and sometime 2011. I think. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and usually the groups that get to perform, I think the time when I watched it was at the First Street. They're performing on First Street on the open space on First Street in Harare, and those groups are groups that look like they've spent I don't know how many hours fine tuning themselves. And
Yeah.
also, what was interesting is that no groups looks like the other. They are different. It's not like what you would see maybe if you listen to hip hop, even at an international level, or if you listen to R&B or whatever other genre, it's easy to say, oh, okay, this one sounds like that one, this one sounds like that one. What is it that made you guys different from everything else that goes to Music Crossroads?
First and foremost, us having a genre of our own. That's why we call ourselves Afro-caustics, like this is our sound. So the
Okay.
unique of our band was that way, We would just like our sound. We were playing marimba, but then, if you go to any marimba school or if you go to any marimba institution or around Zimbabwe and you find people playing marimba, there is a certain way of Zimbabwean marimba being played, right? Our style was unique. Timba
All right.
Mawoko, a lead marimba player, is just this wizard guy that just like plays like he's playing like piano fingers, but he's using sticks. So
All right.
kind of style of marimba made us unique, you know, because we would use like some South African into it. Because marimba people just like focus on like Shona music, you know, and then they just like Jem Tenguri. That's what most of people know. But then that time we took advantage of like, you know, what if we take like Marabi from South Africa and, you know, sing Ngesikiwa and just sing this kind of message, or take
All right.
a song, traditional song, and, you know, redo it in our way with marimba. So that's what kind of made us unique, you know.
Yeah.
And it made us, you know, win that national final because nobody will match our sound. It made us go to Mozambique. That was our first regional final that we went for, because after we won our national finals, we had to go and compete with Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, and Tanzania, you know, all other regional.
Other countries. All right. Yeah.
And so there was 3 prizes there. The first prize was gonna be to tour Europe the next year for like 6 months, and
All
then
right.
the second prize was to tour Sweden for 1 month next year, right? And then the third prize was to go to an ethno-musical camp that was coming up in like a month,
All right.
and it was just gonna be for a week. That's it.
All
And
right.
what we wanted out, man. We didn't want to be in Zimbabwe anymore. We wanted to be touring artists. So we were like, guys, I know that we can get the first prize. We can wait a year and then go tour Europe. We wanted to go next month. So we were actually aiming for the third prize. You know,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
some race, we got that third prize.
All right.
And the prize was for us to go to that camp in Sweden, and that's what got us out of Africa for the first time, winning that
Yeah.
competition. And then we found ourselves in Sweden. So we went to Sweden during the Frankfurt World Cup. That time it was in Germany, right? So that was
Yeah.
a whole experience, because we flew through Frankfurt, and then this was our very first international, and nobody was with us. We were really confused at the airports and stuff, but we made it. We impressed, you know. So going to Sweden made us meet a lot of people all over the world. That's how our connection started. So we got
All right.
invitations after that, you know. Came back to Zimbabwe. We got an email. We loved your sound. We would like you guys to come and perform in at the ACP festival in Dominican Republic. Oh, we liked your song. We would like you to come to Spain. We like your song. We would like you to come to United States. That's how we came to United States. And just our connections grew and grew bigger until
All
we
right.
met.
Yeah.
We met like a manager around like 2007, and then we became like a solid band with the manager and tours, and you know.
Yeah. All right. If I can just take you a little bit backwards and say, going to Crossroads, if you can give us a snippet of a song that you did, if you still remember that song in 2006, that or one of the songs, because you don't perform one song, you perform quite a number of songs. One of the songs that still stayed with you from 2006.
Mm-hmm. The one actually that won us the competition is 2 songs. That was Ekaya and
All right.
Dasara. So these 2 songs are from our very first album, Afroacoustics, that we released in 2007. Yeah. So it's a song that just like it's a South African beat, but then I sing in English, and I'll be saying like something like, "Pack my bags, I'm going home, where I belong. It's been a long, long time since I went home, and I've been working day and night, working for my family, and now it's time for me to go. Thank you, God, I'm heading home. Rakohaye, siye kaya." You know, it goes on and
Yeah.
on. But yeah, that took us places, that song, and that's what
All
I
right.
got places, yeah.
Right. That's also a kind of prophetic, because I believe it's a song that you're singing now. You were still a Kaya at that time, but it's a song. It's the perfect song that you could sing today. It's still
That's
relevant. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
All right. Yeah. And then you're done with Music Crossroads. You guys have taught. And then as Bongo Love, let's talk about the Madison Square. You guys
Oh yeah.
performed at a sold out Madison Square 3 times. And also, maybe if you can tell us the magnitude of Madison Square on itself and its importance in your career. You guys were a guest group there, I understand, as part of the dispatch, and you were
Mhm.
there for 3 days, and the venue was sold out for 3 nights.
Yep. Yeah, 30,000 people a night. And all this was because we were on tour.
Yeah.
So we've managed to have this privilege of touring the United States extensively, man. Like myself personally, I've toured United States has 50 states, and I've toured 48 of those states. It's just through Bongo Love, just us going to state by state and playing. So we happened to be in a festival where a band called State Radio, which is a very well-known band in the Massachusetts area, was playing. So we were opening for that band. So the leader of that, it's one of the band members for Dispatch. For some reason, this was when the MDC was trying to get in, and Zimbabwean politics was getting crazy, like in 2007.
Yeah.
And so these guys were doing a big fundraiser because one of their members from Dispatch has been to Zimbabwe. He works with non-profits in Zimbabwe. So he wanted to do something for Zimbabwe, like to raise as much money as they can so that they can send to non-governmental organizations that help people in Zimbabwe. I'm sorry, my neighbor is kind of making some noise.
Yeah,
And then,
that's right.
yeah. And then, yeah. So when these guys saw that they had that there's a band from Zimbabwe that is opening for them, and then they already wanted to bring in a band from Zimbabwe to open for them at Madison Square Garden. So it was a better deal for them to say, why would we want to fly in a band from Zimbabwe, whereas there's an already band that's already here. So that's how we got that gig. And
All right.
because we're friends with Chad, he's the lead singer, well, not one of the lead singers in Dispatch. And
Yeah.
yeah, Immature, his manager, got us into that gig, and we wanted to do that because it was part of our country. That concert was called Dispatch Zimbabwe. So we had everything to do with that concert because it was about our country. So I'm
All
so
right.
proud we did that, and it's one of my biggest stages I've ever done, and like the biggest crowd I've ever played for, and that helped us go a milestone for sure with our careers, and just with the band itself, just for people to know Bongo Love in the Massachusetts East Coast area. It's just through Madison Square Garden for sure. And, the fan base that we have of today is through those concerts.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we've spoken about the Madison Square performance and the impact it had not only in your career but what you're trying to do back for Zimbabwe. And then we come to what you are doing, Mambira Foundation, which is focusing on particularly from Mzilikazi for now. Maybe if you can tell us about the inspiration. How did Mambira Foundation come about?
Mambira Foundation, it's because of in 2018 when I went back home. I took my family back home to Zimbabwe, and so when I was home, man, and as I told you that I grew up in, Mzilikazi Youth Center doing house there. So I just decided to take a walk to see where I grew up, man. I was like, okay, let me take a walk and see my center. And as soon as I got to that center, man, I teared up, man. I cried. Why? Because of just like the state of the place. I just like saw how abandoned that place was. And then I came to think like, this is the place that raised me. This is
Yeah.
the place that made me a better person I am today. I'm out of trouble because of this place, but this place is being neglected for the youth that are growing up right now. Why is this place just being like this? I need to do something to my community because all these kids, as I'm walking around, kids in the ages of like when I was 14, I was telling you I was already doing arts, but 14-year-olds right nowadays in my neighborhood, they're into drugs, alcohol abuse, they're just like doing these things that hurt their bodies, it's all because there's no hope for them at all. Kids come from school, they don't have anything to do. They just like start doing mischievous things. But I thought of founding Mambira Foundation because of that. I thought maybe the first idea was to just like try to recreate that space for the younger ones, so that kids in Mzilikazi, when they come from school, at least they have somewhere to go, to kind of like, there's gym there, there's soccer, there's like how I grew up. So I'm trying to recreate that space for my community and try to get a borehole going so that there's accessible water. So if these kids are playing, but then there's, like clean running water for them, because this all is not there right now, So yeah, the Mzilikazi Youth Center is the main reason that, drove me to found Mambira Foundation, because I'm just trying to reach the community. Yeah.
All right. So what have you guys done? How far is the project now in everything that you've listed to say these are the things that we need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? How far have you gone? What have you done? And if anyone is to support Mambira Foundation, what is it that they're looking into investing in exactly?
Yeah, we've been working at least for a couple of years. Last month, no, 2 months ago in June, we've been doing fundraisers in and out, like for the past 2 years, like little fundraisers, because that's the only way I see I can be of help back home. I live here with, like very nice people in my community that are so eager to help our communities back. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? What am I good at? I'm not a good fundraiser, but I'm a good producer. I can do productions. So I work together with my wife and I do productions. So we raise funds that way. So what we've done is we did a live stream and it managed to get us at least halfway into raising funds. So because what we focused on right now is to make sure by the end of the year we've drilled that ball, so that people start. As for starters, you gotta have clean, accessible water. So we from there, and we're almost there. Actually, as I speak, we have another fundraising concert in my backyard coming up tomorrow. It's just like a limited thing because of our COVID situation right now. But we still, because we're going ahead with our fundraising, and we are partners with City of Bulawayo and Mzilikazi Councillor in Ward 8. They are helping us into, getting proper documentation for drilling the bore and proper survey to know where exactly we can drill the well, So I think just this past years we've gone, like a long way into trying to achieve what we are, and we are pretty close. And I would just like urge everybody out there that would love to help, Mambira Foundation, to go straight to mambira.org. And, you can be able to learn more about our foundation and our intention, because it's all laid down in our website right there. But yeah, I'd like to, so far so good. And I'm thinking the, even like just like the city council, they are really cooperating and really willing to, support us to see us go through this. So I'm really grateful for that.
All right, nice. I understand also Mambira Foundation is going to be offering workshops and classes. What can who is the target audience? One, secondly, what can people expect from these workshops and classes? What material will be taught? What stuff will be disseminated from these platforms?
Yeah, so myself, I kind of like teach different kinds of forms of art. I teach marimba. I'm a marimba teacher. I'm a dancer. I'm a choir teacher, and I'm a drum teacher. So all these classes, like just here in Eugene, we have organizations that we work with that are into Zimbabwean culture and music. There is centers that are named in Shona right here in Eugene, like Utsinira Center is a center based here in Eugene by Eugenians, but they are for Zimbabweans, So that's why they're naming organization in Shona. they teach the kids like from the ages of 7 to like teenagers. They teach them marimba, they teach them Shona culture, we teach them Ndebele culture, just learning a lot about Zimbabwean culture and teaching them the instruments and how we dance and how we sing. So we offer those classes. I offer those classes myself, just like in private. I offer them in groups, or I senior center, and we offer facilities like that, like because there's more instruments there, and then I can teach like even 15 people at the same time. So yeah, Mambira.org, and just like if you want to learn something, if you're based here in the United States or based in UK, I mean, we can have one-on-one Zooms, and just that's my job. I teach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. That's a great initiative. So now coming back to Bongo Love, is Bongo Love still active? And what can we expect from Bongo Love in terms of, is there an album that's coming up? Is there any a future project that you guys are working on?
Yeah, we actually, if it wasn't for COVID, this year was the year that we wanted to do a reunion tour this summer. But unfortunately, life happened. But yes, we've been thinking about this. The thing is, we are all here, in abroad. We're living in different places. We have families now. Like myself, I'm based here in Eugene. My other friend is based in Boston. My brother is based in Canada, actually, not even in the United States. And then James Buzu, our guitarist, is based in California. So what we do is, once in a while, we just like get together on Zoom, and then we just like talk and see what we would like to do. And we all want to do a reunion call. So we now that this situation is happening, we're thinking maybe like by next summer we wanna have to go into studio definitely, and do a new album that we're gonna tour with. So definitely people expect something from Bongo Love, and we never actually disbanded like that. It was just because it was time for us to grow and and just move on with our lives, and
Yeah.
without anything bad or fights or disagreements. It was just time for us to move on different directions for a sec. And now we are settled and I get back together and do a tour. Yeah.
All right, I will be waiting for that for Bongo Love something. But you have toured United States, you've toured some countries in Europe, and you've toured some countries even in Africa, Mozambique, Tanzania, and them. What can you then say? This is something that you might need to learn from as a Zimbabwean music industry, Zimbabwean art industry in general. What is it that you think to advise and say, this is what I would like to fix if I'm given that opportunity?
For Zimbabwean artists, I would just like say, let's put our minds more into being collaborative than into be competitive. You know what I mean? As I travel, man, I'm seeing a lot of successful groups, successful bands. It's because of how they work together. They just like artists around, like here, I'll just speak specifically for United States. They give time for each other. I see a lot of collaborations without saying who's better than the other. You understand what I mean? It's just like, we are artists, we collaborate on this. So I read a lot of comments, and just like people trying to compare Zimbabwean artists to say, oh, this one is, what do you think about this one and this one? So that itself it's a thing that just kind of like separates us as artists, instead of just kind of unifying us as artists and just like bringing our Zimbabwean art into one bulb and grow together. People just tend to try to be, oh, I'm gonna compete with this one. That's why we see posters like Alec Macheso versus Oliver Mtukudzi. It's not supposed to be like that. It should be like Alec Macheso and Oliver Mtukudzi, because it's Zimbabwean music. But then what do we do as Zimbabweans? We say, oh, did you see Thomas Alec Macheso awachiswa na. It's not about that. So let's think more of collaborating than competing,
Yeah.
then our industry is going to grow as well. It's just simple as that. You might think it's complicated, but collaborate than compete. That's it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I don't know. I've interviewed many people, and everyone seems to be on that collaborative note. I remember Croft is one of the guys. He's an artist, but he is mainly into video side of things for music and stuff like that. And then a filmmaker, John Jack, who also talk about being more collaborative instead of being competitive. So I hope that we can glean from that and then benefit. And then how do people get in touch with you? If anyone would like to get in touch with you and learn more about you, where do they go?
Well, we have a Facebook page, they can go to, like Bongo Love on Facebook. You can find me, for now, I think that's the only way, or just like go to our site. There's our contacts on our website, mambira.org. You can get like us through that. Yeah. Just on Facebook, just like go to our Facebook page and like our page, and, that's how you can get hold of me for sure.
Thank you so much. Oh, before I let you go, where do we get Bongo Love music? If people want to listen to Bongo Love music, is it there on digital stores, digital platforms?
Yeah, if you go to iTunes, you can get on iTunes you get our 4 albums. Bongo Love has 4 albums, but on iTunes right now there's the 3 albums, except for the second. We didn't want to put it out there because. So go to iTunes, search for Bongo Love, you'll find our music right there.
All right, nice.
Our music on Spotify, definitely.
Yep. All right, thank you so much, John, for your time. It was a pleasure having you and talking to you.
Thank you, boss. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Until next time, man. Cheers. This was Earground. Usually we say new voice is amplified, but this ain't no new voice. This is a golden voice. Thank you so much. Until next time. Cheers.